Hello? 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 Is this working? Yeah, I know that everything now is short-based content, so like literally nobody will watch this unless my audience watches it. Which just kind of sucks, because like live streams used to be the big thing, during COVID. But, yeah. Let's see, I think you can see the screen now. But there was something about being this like lower middle class to middle lower class that I just felt like super disgusted by going to like public like buildings or having anything to do with public. Like the thing when you actually go to these sort of private places, like they have loaded with cash. Like the sort of things that these people get into, it just doesn't feel they get treated like royalty, and the thing when you actually go to these holidays and it is a bunch the brightest and the best of the country, you don't actually see the raw and authentic grittiness of the population usually. You don't simply just see like people like that anymore. Like what I'm trying to say that is that like there is this raw and authentic feeling which I like. When I go to England, I would rather go to the public instead of like meeting any designated person. I would just like to talk to strangers if I ever go to the UK. I don't like to go to like professional experts or whatever. Like the thing about you actually are designated to go, but like if you actually met a drunk stranger in the UK, he has probably a lot more open and close heart to say than the actual like person that you're actually going there to visit, which is just kind of crazy. There's some old songs I had. I'm just editing right now. It's so hot, but I'm waiting until about 1 p.m. And in 1 p.m. there will be a cool down period and lots of clouds, so I'll be able to load them on without getting like an actual sunburn, because I'm really scared of getting sunburned. Like usually people, like every job that I worked in isn't outside. I don't get paid enough to work outside usually. I've been in like mostly in big complexes which don't have a day of sunlight, and usually that actually helps you away from the sun. But when you're like sort of have to work in the sun all the time, it's it actually gets really, really, really like I wear sunglasses and a baseball cap and I still get sunburned, and I don't want to do that because I have to jump in the shower and get on aloe vera and everything like that, and I still wear sunscreen. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know exactly which demo was like the best. A lot of demos I never got to finish. A lot of them are just really dumb titles because I just never got to really care about them. Oh yeah, I forgot. I think that was like me joking off. I think that was like before I started quitting recording. Usually there's some sessions where I go past, you know, half an hour mark. It usually just means that it's jamming or just practicing. It's not actually a conceptualized song. So some of them are terrible, some of them are just jams. Yeah. I don't remember exactly. I remember this one. This was recorded at the I remember having that because that was like, I remember it was super loud, but it wasn't that deafening. That was actually kind of cool. I think American Personality was, no, American Privacy was one of the demos that I remember. I remember having a song named like Bipolar Queen, but it's just not here. I think it was named something else. The lyrics had, you know. No, it's like a lot of it's super cringe, but some of it is good.
Word Soup Town.
Oh yeah, this was I remember I had one with the only thing was the microphone. I had like a headset microphone, and I forgot that I didn't record the amplifier, so I just was. So the only thing that I had when recording the acoustic was the vocal microphone, so that's why it sounds. If I remember exactly, Dave a cheater. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I basically only had power chords to go off, so in some instances you see some sanity, but in most of it, it's just like unlistenable garbage. Yeah, completely out of tune, but that was sort of the vibe at that point. Eat Paint, yeah. I remember that one. That actually has to be that one, I think. I was screaming so loud, I remember it. EP idea. But some of them are just super cringe because, you know, my vocals just sounded so dumb at that time. I still have really a boring voice. Gallons of liquor. Gallons. George George Camden, I remember it. I had some demos, but like a lot of them are cringe, and I have to do a lot of work to. Yeah, it's so many demos. It's absolutely crazy. But the thing is that like the vocals make it sound even cringier, so I never listen to them. But I have like I still have it in my head, like the Imagine concept, because I kind of have like this weird studio feeling that it could potentially just be recorded and saved. That's one I already released. But yeah, I don't remember exactly. Imagine if I showed up in 2024 and said, hey, I want to record an album. I think the first thing that guys would scream their balls off is that I'm not a musician. And they're completely right, but I had an idea. Right now I can play it like it was original. If I have an acoustic, let me see. Like I remember it was. It's a different tuning. Yes, that's how it went. So. That's literally the whole thing. I remember that distinctly, like that. Nobody cares. Okay, but that's how it went. It's like Norwegians are super cringy when it comes to music making, unless you're like this super feminine sort of, like I don't know. It gets cringe the more you start to realize it's supposed to be made for a different audience, and then like most people won't authentically listen to this at all. it literally is like a make it or break it moment when it comes to the vocalists, because sometimes it just literally comes down that they are, you know, it's just genetics. They can't sing English correctly and make it convincing enough, so it literally sounds too Scandinavian and cringe, basically. It doesn't matter how good the bass or the vocals are, it could do it, but like the more you listen to it, you realize this sounds super cringe. You have to probably scream your, break your vocal cords and make it American at this point. Pumpkin Spice Girl. Some of these instances you hear actual like conception, and the rest is just me trying to figure out a certain chord and how it goes together. Peak drip feed, only drip feed, nothing else. What Pumpkin Spice Girl went like. No. just upload it to SoundCloud? Because I think demos are just more SoundCloud friendly. How does that work? Because can you just upload it with a simple picture? Okay, you can. Maybe it's better to do that because I just I want to dump the whole thing like a file. I don't want to see any of it. I just want people to hear it if they want to hear it, you know? Whoa. I guess because SoundCloud used to be better before, now it's like pay to win basically. If I don't finish them, it's just garbage. That's the sort of point. I really want to go down and record all this like one by one and then add bass, add some cool drums, add like multi-layered guitars and like some epic vocals, but that's just... Do I have to do everything myself? Like, people didn't used to do this completely by themselves in their own like boy room. Like, this is crazy how the lack of connections and social life I got, you know? Like, to the point where I have to sit and suddenly do this stuff and like realize nobody's gonna listen to it. It's just kind of crazy, honestly. Because the thing about music is that it's heavily dependent on social connections that you got beforehand. So if you're well off socially, you know, shad light, like extremely outgoing, everybody knows your last name, and they want to see a more sensitive side of you in music. That's the more desirable thing instead of like this deadbeat loser from high school, you know, with incel vibes, and he just like ends up deciding to make some songs, and you know, it's been sitting on it for 2 years, and it's been able to make anything record them, and everyone's just screaming out of the top of their lungs, when are you gonna release your music, when are you gonna, you know, professionally record something, and then, you know, what? Like, they treat it, because it's like the thing is that they treat it like a milestone in someone's life. I totally get it, but like, the age when people used to start this stuff was like in 16 with their like first album, or like 18 with their first album, or 21, and I'm 21 right now, but there is just like absolutely nobody that wants to help me unless I pay them a minimum 1.5, you know, k euros to like maybe for an EP, and it's like, am I going to be satisfied? You know, it's like, it all depends on hours. Like, okay, you paid 1.5k euro, you get 40 hours. If you fuck up these hours, I don't care. You just get the demos. I won't deal with you. And that's like very, very, like, there is no friendliness in it. It's like, it's just money. No niceness. It's very, very strict now, because there is no money in it. It's like, if you're not potential, quit. That's like what people telling you. Work a blue collar job, hate your life, be a drummer after job, you know. Oh, yeah, I'm good. It's just started. For me, I just woke up, you know. I had 2 jobs. I worked about 8 months in a car detailer job, and it's car detailer. It's not car washer. It wasn't just scrubbing cars with like a sponge or anything. We did that, but it was more to that. The car detailing service, we had to do pre-wash. We had to use the steamer, I think it's called, and the pressure washers and stuff. And they were like at 400 bar. They were fucking crazy. You had to wear mufflers and earplugs beneath it, and or like usually we wore headsets. That's what I did before hearing loss, and they worked perfectly fine. Those like noise cancelling headsets. But I started wearing mufflers after that. But that was because I lost my hearing from a guitar-related accident, not because of the work. Yeah, there was and there is foam, and there is degreasing, and like the acids, you know, the thing. With that, you have to basically spray a bunch of chemicals that are like degrease the metals and stuff, and you have, if it's white, you have to literally, you know, use a foam with the gloves and all this stuff. It's crazy. And the insides, we had to use this elixir, and we had to use yeah, we had to use detergent, you know, like all this stuff. You know, it was heavy work to get one car that was, you know, used by a different person, to get it working brand new. That was the hardest jobs. But the ones that were brand new from the factory, those were the easiest. You almost wanted to do all of them in one day. But I was incentivized to, you know, take them moderately. You know, take 2 or 3 new cars a day. Do not take 8 or 9. Because I overworked for the amount of ways I got paid. And I realized that because I got like underpaid, but not by my, you know, hiring agency. Like it was like table scraps worth of money. Like I bought all my guitars with my money, by the way, from Norway. So the program, now I actually get fairly paid for the work I do, but like the ways I like overworked myself intentionally to try to get promoted, and then I chickened out of the job because I was scared of the chemicals and stuff. I'm from Norway, and you know, Norwegians are kind of the same thing. But like, I loved that job. I absolutely loved the people there. I thought it was nice. They probably didn't care that much about me, but I still really had, you know, I felt proud of working there. Probably they don't probably even know my name at this point, because you know. But my I had this other job with a warehouse, which was actually pretty okay, but I didn't. I was like, it was April, and you know, your headspace just in the winter times just gets really, really, really cold. Like I was like, and this was like post hearing loss, depression at my own home for like 3 months. Yeah, it was crazy. Then May rolled around, and I said like, they said to me like, well, like, you, I don't know exactly how it went, but it was like, well, it was like that, and now I'm going to, in a month's time, go to this other location and sort of go on these courses. Sadly, I have like, fuck, it is what it is, but courses are fine. I think courses could do a really good job, because I think that courses are, it's the thing with courses is that like the ways I got like autism, like I never was learned how to handle my life, so I'm really in a sort of a weird space where I just feel like I've been abandoned by everybody, and I haven't talked to my friends. They don't care, but you know, it's just like the ways I did this, like channel my isolation into this sort of music was the only way I really, you know, kept myself happy and stuff. And like post hearing loss, I was pretty fairly good looking. Like I like these facial lines and this talk, because I talk to myself like, you know, the one thing I realized with tinnitus, like you start talking to yourself like crazy to like, because to sort of drown the noise, you start just talking for no reason, and you know, I would just, you know, I start talking a lot. Also bad sleep and stuff, so I have these weird, you know, the muscles between under your eye, but over your the smiling lines, they are like puffy and weird, you know. I had like this straight face, but in some like good lightings, I kind of look the same. But I'm convinced that I look older, and my phone is dead, so I can't show you any evidence of it because my phone is dead, because these Samsungs have the worst battery possible. But yeah. I really want to move to the US, but in this economy, no, I can't. The economy today, especially with Trumponomics and all this stuff, but like the economy now is actually just terrible in general. 19-year-olds are being thrown out of their houses by their parents to move out at 18, 19 because they fucking hate them. And they want to just do that because they never really wanted to have kids in the first place or whatever, you know. And or they think it's still the 1990s where you can still buy a house for you know, less than 100K or 50K. But the prices today are basically impossible to afford your own house. You might be even lucky once to have, like, if you're lucky, you're in a relationship with a girl and she is fairly, like, she's upper class. You might be lucky, but let's be honest, there no girl would date lower class. Like, it's actually, like, frowned upon at this point, and it's still, like, a really bad class dynamic. Like, I felt disgusted by being in these upper class places, like, which I accidentally got myself invited to, because because of there's like a paywall in certain places and certain educations and certain institutions and stuff, and you just go to these expensive places without having the money for it. But like, I didn't realize it was that expensive. I thought it was just a location. I went there for the building, not the fucking price, you know. And it's like, well, you have to think about that. And it's like, okay, when I quit, you can't quit. You have to pay like upfront to quit. And it's like, no, I don't. It was like super expensive. And I just felt disgusted by like how upper class, how snobby and superior they felt to others. It was just like, these kids like have never experienced the ways I've lived. Like, they treat me like I am the country, because I was the only guy from the actual district there. But I feel like I was very rural, even though it was just an hour away from where I lived. You know, the rest of people just live in these sort of metropolitan areas, and I just, you know, I'm not supposed to be there. You know. That was like my experience with these like places, and I sort of got used to it, because like nobody really goes, because the people who live in these rural areas where I live, they all move south to the city. While the socialite, you know, metropolitan people, they go up to the counties for holidays and education and all this stuff. They just literally purposely go up there because they never experienced the real rural countryside. You know, it's not like that. It's you know, the people who live here get abandoned or are told to move to the cities for opportunities, and I'm the guy that, you know, chooses to really stay there, but I can't stay here because there is nothing to do, and, you know, I get yelled to death to move out. So I'm going to this place for like 7 months, going to stay there, going to record music, going to do arts, because I actually had an arts degree, so I'm going to start drawing again. Hopefully that'll work, but like, I won't get a career out of it. But, you know, I'm just getting yelled to death at taking like a blue collar degree, and yeah, like, there is really nothing to do with that sort of thing. Like, getting a blue collar degree is, it's like the only way actually into these places, or else people will like judge you unless you're like a teacher or something. And the ways that people are just openly racist and sexist now, like, they don't even care about the consequences, because they've been like teached by Instagram Reels and TikToks to be like this open and hateful, because it's cool if I do it because it's online. But now they're just doing it in real life because they don't care anymore, and they've been abandoned by everybody else. And like, I don't do this sort of stuff. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't, you know, be this openly hateful and stuff, and, you know, I unironically don't do that, and people just like view me as, you're crazy, you know. And I don't view myself fairly positively. I still think I'm the bad guy, you know. That's just how it works out in my head. And people will never forgive me. That's just how it's been. Let me see how it's. These are just demos, but I really want to officially record these before something happens. But like, I really want to get down to recording. But it always comes down to the bottom line, money. Quinge talk, quinge. I get it. That's the point of doing new things, but it's just ruled out as cringe in the end of the day. That's just how it works. When you try something new that is completely unheard of, it's often cringe in the beginning. The scary thing is that I'm like really scared of is that there'll be some actual control freaks. Like I'll have a good demo and it'll just be tossed in the trash and we'll start from scratch. That's my initial fear of music now, because there'll be some control freaks that I'll be in a band with and it's like, hey, I have an idea I want to really record. Don't be that guy. Just don't. It's going to be like the guys, they're gonna butcher the whole song concept. It's just going to be basically made very safe. The original idea is gonna get scrapped. Almost the title is only going to be left. It's going to, you know, it's just like it's crazy how people just don't want to inherit the DNA of an original demo anymore. It's just like, you know, nowadays it's like, does it make us money? No, just toss it in the trash. That's how I feel like it's going to be. It's like you don't know nothing about, like, but I keep seeing it, like demos just sound better than the actual music. So I like a link you can share. Partnership YouTube. No, I don't want to be a partnership program. I want to work in the what's the other thing? There's like this thing called like work together, but it's the thing with YouTube partnership is like I don't know. Trying to work outside YouTube partnership is kind of like if your channel gets deleted outside YouTube partnership. Yeah. I don't know anymore. I need to find a yeah. It was just like code. Why can't I okay. Like I've been bullied like by my voice and alone. People will just yell at me for no reason. Like the thing about being neurodivergent, like people and if you know, if you're not socially worth the same, you know, level or whatever, it's just going to be literally at that point worse. Like I have like this premature voice also, like it is crazy. That like people will comment on the absolute smallest amount of details and the smallest amount of like things with you that make you stand out from everybody else, and that's like I've just learned to like like that's just fine, but it's like unless you're not making a million, like it's like what do you want me to be, you know? It's like they don't even want me to exist at this point, you know, because like if your voice sounds premature, okay, but your face looks too young, you need to get some proper sun damage. Your hair is too long, you need to cut it short. Why do you look so Slavic when you have short hair? You need to have it grow it longer. Like, you know, getting helicoptered on like the smallest amount of details, and you know, for no benefits other than just please others. It's like, why do you dress so weirdly? Why do you have these weird clothes? You know, it's like, why don't you dress in these expensive clothes? Air conditioners have been just like, air conditioners right now are just sadly in Europe. You can't get them because of EU regulations. You're not just able to get them. They will actually sell them. Really, just you can't even get proper AC because boomers and Gen X in Europe has just told you to stop even trying, because it's German tradition to have the windows open when it's cold, like when it's hot, you know. It's like we're melting, you know. It's crazy. People die of this stuff. I used to order guitar strings off here. Yeah, this was where I ordered my first guitar. And I liked it, but like I was just bullied off to selling it. I had this one too. I liked it, but still got bullied because it was too small and not a proper Marshall, you know. This one I keep ordering. This is actually one of my favorite straps. These I order. I also just buy regular strings off of this place. 9 gauge, 10 gauge, doesn't matter. It's just weird to be still in that demo phase of recording when you're supposed to like actually, you know, people in the same age bracket as you are still is moving forward and they're getting. Yeah, it's crazy. I really want to. This is where I order pickups usually from Guitar Madness. I have like I really want to try these ones out. But this is where I order my pickups from, just by eBay. Okay, so let's ask for a music studio. I think I know these guys. But judging by the art style, I think I know where they're coming from. I might contact these mites. For the people who say that my music is trash, now I'm gonna make it professionally trash. One song. An EP is that cheap? That's not that bad. That's actually something I would spend money on all honesty. This doesn't sound that bad as a price. Yes, like, I'm looking forward to record my music professionally, I guess. Like, I am beyond that point of saving. I'm going to ask the comment section. Where did my amp go? Oh, there we go. I wish I had long hair. I used to have it when I was a kid. Hello. So I'm thinking about recording my music in a music studio to make my first EP. Do you guys have any sort of ideas or clips or music demos that I want to fully preach and record? I want to start out with some of my original ideas, and I don't want to start from scratch, but I want to keep the original sound demo alive, but with some workarounds, wall of sound, verses and solos. Do you want to see music from the early 2023 to 2025 era, or do you want to see something that I made currently? I could do a whole file dump of my demos on a website, but I don't know what sounds good anymore to the naked ear, so it's difficult to choose favorites. That's it. Wait, is my voice that bad, or does it sound? I don't know anymore. It's like yeah. So I'm thinking about recording my music in a music studio to make my first EP. Do you guys have any sort of ideas or clips or Holy voice crack.
I want to start out with some of my original ideas, and I don't want to start from scratch, but I want to keep the original sound demo alive, but with some workarounds, a lot of sound verses and solos. Do you want to see music from the early 2023 to 2025 era, or do you want to see something that I made currently? I could do a whole file dump of my demos on a website, but I don't know what sounds good anymore to the naked ear, so it's difficult to choose favorites. But that's it.
Why do you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What's the boomer mentality behind that? I don't understand. Why do I have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I don't want to LARP as an American. I'm still a Norwegian in the day. I'm still just a stupid Scandinavian artist with, you know, that likes to make work with instruments. So yeah, but that works. At EU compliant volumes. bad. That smells really bad. I don't know why my dad says it's perfectly fine when the fucking arm smells like charcoal. It's probably not safe to even inhale that stuff. The Fender amp is broken, and my dad says it's perfectly fine. It sounds perfect now. Well, you know, it smells burnt. How the fuck does he think that's working? Playing a song or messing around. I'm testing the amp, and the Fender amp is broken, My damn case is fine, but when we did the valve, there was a valve, and the valve was broken because of overplaying. We ordered a new one from Russia. I installed it and it broke. The black thing in the middle broke, and I read that you can't even replace the black thing, so I had to probably buy $60 for a new valve that nobody cares about. So I've just resolved to the black star and the orange. Now I'm figuring out what's safe levels to play on, cause I'm fucking deaf and can't hear shit. So, so with this thing, when it goes on red, that usually means it's a safe volume. So I've been, you know, I'm trying to find out how to play safely and not annoy people, because I can't hear how loud it is. Either it's too quiet or too loud for my ears. It's a shame. I can't tell if it's too loud, but I can say it sounds good to the stream. Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's rough. Glad you got it working out. Yeah, I don't know if it's too loud, so sometimes my ear will start, you know, going ham wild even if I'm using protection, so I'm wondering what is going on. Am I deaf or am I deafer? So, you know, I've been using these new plugs from FRI, but these ones are Howard Lewitt or something, so I'm trying to get some FRI ones. But those are like the safe hearing protections that actually work, besides the foam ones and the mufflers. The mufflers I get too much bullied for, so I use these instead. And let you know, I'm just 21 and already deaf, so it's not really that fun. So I can't go back now, so that's pretty much. So if I can't go back, might as well go all in, buy these fucking big ass amps and mod these guitars to actual industry spec instead of just joking around with these stupid pots and pickups. Might as well go all in while I'm deaf, so, and try to, you know, get this stuff immortalized so I don't become like a loser forgotten, you know. So I'm looking for a studio to play some of my songs. I don't know which songs I want to record. I really want to record them, but it takes a lot of time and patience, and I don't know how I'm going to get it recorded properly, and I don't know which song I want to record because I have so many songs I don't know what to do with, and I have some really sounds good to the naked ear at first glance, and some sounds like terrible, so I don't know. You know, so I don't know how to distinguish a song from just fiddling around or jamming. but usually it's like half an hour means a jam. But usually if it's about 2 minutes to 7 minutes, it's usually a song. As an EQ pedal, actually EQ makes a really cool thing. I had one traumatic event. The hearing loss I had was it was in the 8th of May 2025. I remember this because I had this Morgan amp down there. I pressed on, and it was a solid state Chinese amp, mass produced garbage from the 2000s. I pressed on and it blew up with a bunch of these distortion pedals. I had no time to react or turn it off. With valve state, you can pretty much have like a 10-second, oh, I can hear a really disturbing sound, might as well turn it off. With valve state, so solid state, it happened instantly. So I was about this close to the amp, like this close to my face, to the speaker, and I was, you know, because I was low on storage, so it was about at that door handle, you know, height. So yeah, it blew up with a bunch of these screams. It sounded like a screaming woman. My cheeks went cold the first second. My ears started ringing, and I just felt cold and had a terrible headache for 2 weeks. And I've had this tinnitus in my upper left head, but the tinnitus has just gone around, and it's a little bit weak. It's a little bit less on the right ear, but you know, I don't know if I got more tinnitus or less. But I think it gets worse doing how weak they are. But I've been overprotecting myself almost every single practice. But I think I don't know if it's been spiking or not. It feels like it, but also can be. You know, I don't know if it's the same thing as it was. But it was less bothersome, I think. But because, you know, blue collar jobs and all this stuff, you don't know, you have to protect yourself all the time. But yeah, it happened at one day. I had cat sensitive hearing prior to May 2025, and I've been depressed as shit. But I'm still, you know, record and play music daily, you know. Yeah, close calls are the worst, basically traumatic events that can happen. So you need to be super careful. The close calls are basically what actually makes people deaf. It's not the loud playing over time. But you know, when I'm going to play live or with a band, I'm going to get some proper, you know, like these rivets, like with 3 rivets. I'm going to get some of those, and for the rest of my bandmates too. Anyone starting out young and stuff. And I'm going to get some IMs and stuff. You know, actual IMs when I'm going to play live, you know. So IMs with like molded, you know. That's just what I'm going to do when I'm playing live, and maybe recording too. But yeah, it's too late to go back to acoustics now, I guess. But I've been just working on trying to get my stuff recorded, but I don't know which studio I need to contact. But yeah, it actually isn't that expensive as I thought it was. But my tip to any artist to have actual like no tinnitus, when you're playing or gigging, don't feel ashamed of wearing these plugs, but when you go into the amp or rehearsal space, always put these on the second you enter the door, because there will be something unexpected. The bassist might pick up an amp and try something new. You just don't know. So before you enter the door, put on these, and after you exit, take them off. That's just my advice. Just have them constantly on. Beethoven was completely deaf. I'm sensitivity-wise deaf. It's not that I'm super deaf. I can hear stuff, but it's basically my ears are not sensitive and they don't react to most sounds, besides the left ear. But pinch-wise, it's kind of fine. But you know, I still wear hearing aids and all this stuff. But it's the right ear that sucks. But that was the best ear before, actually. So the left ear was worse, but now it's technically the standalone main contender. Same riffs, same songs. I'm gonna get a Stratocaster with a metal pickup. We're going to go for P90. Yeah, a lot of fucking people give up. Nowadays in the 2020s, everybody gives up. There is no money in it. But I do it because I have nowhere else to go, and it's my life. It's my bloodline. My parents are musicians. My grandparent was a musician. Might as well do it myself. I don't care. You know, and it's like, Why I gave up. Both of my brothers are drummers. It's genetic. Usually the stride and the not giving up phase, that's usually because of genetic, musician blood, creative artistry. I have an arts degree. Basically. It's a little bit loud, okay. Thank you. I do more of visual arts, but that's kind of cool in the terms of everyone giving up now. Yeah, everyone. The thing now in the 2020s, like everybody's giving up creative arts. Being, you know, what's it called? What's the thing? Like, be a creative. Like there was like this whole like movement in the 2022. Just be like a. What's the name? Creative licenser? No, it was like formatting websites, I think it was called. I don't remember. It was like something like be a creative visual artists, something like that. But yeah, everyone stopped giving up because everyone now realizes that money is on the line. So everyone would rather become a male nurse, like a blue collar warehouse job, Walmart. There is very little money in music or any arts. It's either if you're a rich daughter of a wealthy politician or a like very rich bloodline, you might you know get somewhere with that, because you know connections and rich family history and bloodline. You can literally draw a fucking dick on a wall and put some duct tape on it and claim it's art. And who is that person? We don't know, but it's someone, you know, has big connections and that can claim it's important to be remembered for all of eternity. But Andy Warhol destroyed art as we know it. I'm more of a classical artist. I like classical music. I love classical art. I think Andy Warhol is the worst thing that ever happened to art in general. But the thing is now, like, everyone is just quitting. Like esports, everyone like in America and Europe, like they focus more on their jobs. You know, your job is your life. That sort of mentality, instead of actually, you know, your job is your working life, and then for a hobby, and on the weekends you record with your buddies, and you know you play guitar, and then you record an album, you know, once a year or something like that. No, it's like just do your job, you know, and if you're lucky, you have a wife and kids to come home to, and paying, you know, everyone has wife and kids. Everyone wants to have that sort of tradition where they work a living wage and they come home to their wife and daughter, and you know they put all their cash into that loving relationship, and that's sort of how, and. You know, if I had a wife, they would probably be so pissed off that I bought so many guitars that I would probably get a divorce. But yeah, exactly. I'm currently living a blue collar life. Have time finding stuff. Makes it a little difficult, but it takes the passion away. Like blue collar sucks the life out of me. Yeah. Like I love Hi Evelyn. But blue collar sucks the life out of people. How I'm good. I'm fine. It's a warm, very heat wave European summer day. It's currently a Tuesday, I think. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. I love the Gen Z worth ethic, that if they're not getting paid enough to buy their own houses, they quit on the spot. I love that. You know, most people not complain. I'm sort of the cold, quiet type. I don't complain. But I love them, you know, having the option to quit their job at the spot if they feel uncomfortable, or, you know. But, you know, because welders and stuff, welding is the biggest job. If you want to get into welding and make big cash, get into welding. And if you want to get even bigger cash, go to the oil fields and weld there. But you will never see your wife and kids in probably 9 months. So yeah, I'd probably go to yeah that's sort of, that's my dream with that. But I also want to have, you know, music. My dad has, you know, 3 kids. He's been a musician since he was about officially 50, in his late 50s, where he kind of quit because of deafness. He got deaf because of it, so he finds it sort of annoying in his old age as well. He's basically semi-retired, late like early Gen Xer, refuses to retire, that sort of mentality. But he's a scientist, so it's a relaxing, chill job which requires more brains than, you know, hard work. So it's a really nice job. It almost doesn't make you want to quit. But I've been working in blue collar. That's the only jobs you can find here. My employment agency is either blue collar or no collar. You know,
you know, but I don't want to get my hands dirty. I still want to look like a femboy. I still want to look young, and I don't want to age. I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. I still want to sort of have a career, you know. But I wish there was like actually something. But like the thing is that with art, AI took everything over. Like the official government department where I live, they would rather use AI than hire me to do art for them on a digital scale, because they see like it is a waste of money. It's just more computer. But my municipality, government, and county would rather use AI on Facebook or anything like that. Even AI music at this point, it's crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. The same over here, blue collar, working retail. Yeah, I would probably work retail, you know, work at a grocery store. It is hard work, but at least you see the same people and same faces, and you get to know people. It is stressful, but I would sure love working at a post office because I'm autistic as hell, so I know how to categorize things. Bro, yes, I've seen so many AI company logos and car wraps. It's just, yeah, I swear to God, AI has just become the breeding ground of just. It makes me hate this decade even more as it is. Like, if I had a time machine and I could go back to 2016, I would just fucking run to that time machine. I wouldn't even take anything with me. makes me appreciate actual art so much more. One of my coworkers, glass blowing, it feels like a dying art. He should be working. He should not be working 40 hours a week producing stuff like that. Yeah, I completely feel. Glass blowing is absolutely beautiful. I have a bunch of polar bears in glass and rabbits and stuff. That was some of my favorite things I collected. Was like animals in glass. I loved when my mom brought me some sort of glass pigeons or whatever. It was my favorite thing. You should be able to make a living off of that, in my opinion, but it's not enough to make an appreciate. Yeah, exactly. There is an actual glass factory where I work, which is called Manganor Glass, which is the only glass factory nationwide that actually still has that sort of glass beauty, and people actually go out there and buy it. It's a beautiful thing, Manganor Glass. But I guess with other countries and other places, glass culture is just dying. Boomers would rather go to THU and buy AI slop and hang it on their walls and toilets instead of actually buying anything beautiful, because it's cheaper and it appeals to them way more. They would rather buy AI slop and save money for you when they die, you know. But at this point, it feels like artists. At this point, I feel artists would support each other more than feeling. Yeah, the only way we can actually fix this artists culture dying, basically artists, is that we basically mandate it, make it a government mandate. We force it to go, like we can only do this if we. But this would only work in a social democracy like Sweden or something. But the only way you can actually get artists to like basically is to make a government website where you have to forcefully, you know, order their services because they're not AI, and or else there's going to be like a tax or something like that, and there's going to be a government website with a bunch of people with creative passions that have, you know, a government license to do so, and they're like actually been like looked through the government. They've been reviewed by like an official guy. That's the only way I can actually see this working and like fixing the AI slop and getting people to actually do this stuff. You have to make it a government mandate. You know, people with our high school arts degrees can go somewhere and actually make something. If you just like they get contacted randomly to do something, I think they would probably do it for the hell of it. That's the only way you can actually fix that, in my opinion, is to make it a government mandate for artists and stuff. You know, a government website for artists alike, music. You know, if they have like been to music school, or they have an arts degree, or they have something similar to that, or they have at least 10 to 5 years of experience and being consistent with it, and you know they've passed that sort of government exam, I think that it would work. But it would probably fuck their privacy, because everyone's like, my privacy matters, you know, and that's sort of how you like these artists and creatives don't like their faces to be put on some sort of government website for hire. I don't think that would work. that's a lot of reverb. That would be an official Fiverr website. Would be dope. It would exactly mean the same. It should be sponsored by the taxpayers and incentively used tax money, like a Fiverr for, but taxpayers pay for it, and it's heavily pushed on by the government for people to use it as a free service. Yeah, only in basically Scandinavia and shit with high trust societies would that actually work, and maybe Canada if you're lucky. But I think the U.S. would just especially in Trumponomics, that would never work. They would rather if you're poor, just buy a house. That's how they talk to you. Yeah, they just view it as money and time saving. They don't view human life. They have that game theory, and with that game theory, you're basically you are nothing but another number to them. Same with girlfriends and stuff. It's just game theory. You're just another number when it comes to these businesses, and that's sad, but that's how life works in the 2020s. This was the amp that got me deaf, this small amp here. But I don't know if I'm gonna use it. Yeah, that's the problem. Government. Nobody trusts the government anymore, because back in the day it was higher and upper class, but there were these your average Joes and stuff. That's the stuff here in Scandinavia usually, but nowadays there's even being a wealth disparity because we have so much wealth. We just don't view humans as nothing but cattle, kind of, and. I really feel sad for the American people and the Canadians and stuff. They just don't have that sort of way of life. Canada claims to have it, but these Canadians will go to Los Angeles after having a parliament meeting and claiming that they're for the people. I think Quebec would probably be the most sensible options because they're super isolationists, but they're super rude. But that's the only way it actually works. It still works, but the Fender amp has a valve that's broken. The Morgan one is just really, really loud and sharp and just unpleasant, unless I don't have an option. But I have Black Star. Black Stars are just fantastic amps for the option. AI. Yeah, I'm in Canada. Unfortunately, U.S. politics does bleed here into so many similarities. I do work here. Does it? Yeah. Those pesky Quebecians. Well, that's yeah. They had that new band Pompe de Peyote or something like that. That was the coolest thing that came out of Quebec for ages. Yeah. I really want to travel to Canada or live. I wanted to always just move to Minnesota or North Dakota and work a retail job there for 2 years and come back home to Norway just to get that experience of the American life. but I would probably not even eat normal US groceries and stuff, because everything that's approved by the FDA is just completely, well, it's garbage. It's literally unhealthy and ultra processed. Like, eating healthy in the United States and ecological, if you care about your health and you don't want to get cancer by the age of 35, is like ecological, and but it costs you an arm and a leg, so in Canada is a little bit better, but I would probably go to live in North Dakota and buy Canadian goods, because that's usually not ultra processed and a little bit more healthier. That's just how I would probably do it. What I'm using here is Ibanez 5-band EQ. It's the Nerdvana heart-shaped box with his black Mustang custom guitar. I just copied his EQ settings and I'm just using it. It's just like going to stand there permanently, like as an effect. And a Boss CS free compressor with David Gilmour settings, and and it had just a small clone, Electroharmonics. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I visited the US and gained like 20 pounds in a couple of weeks. The food regulations are non-existent, especially in Trump in office. There is just no health standards whatsoever, and it's a shame. That is so sad. You can't even get. Yeah, and no, I think I would love to visit the U.S., but like most Norwegians don't have the balls to go outside anywhere else than California, and Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Seattle, or New York. They don't have the balls to go anywhere else. I would love to live in Philadelphia for a week just to see how it's like, because Philadelphia is actually the real U.S. Like East Palestine and those places. That's the real U.S., not actually Washington D.C. metropolitan area. I want to actually experience the real folk, the real deal. They might as well be, you know, mentally ill or whatever. I don't care. I would just go there to see what it's like, and you know, just be there for a while. I don't understand why people just go to New York specifically, like New York City, Manhattan, and claim that they were in the U.S. Just to smear that title like they were on Everest. You haven't been on the real Everest. You haven't summited Everest. You've just been on the base camp, which that is Kennedy Airport and New York and Toronto. You need to go out to Manitoba or Winnipeg to actually experience a little bit of, or Saskatchewan. That's actually the real Canada. That's actually the real US, not this stupid tourist destinations. You know, I would extend my visa just to travel to like Wyoming or something. Yeah, the US ingredients list is ultra processed. It's like a discovery. Yeah, it's completely right. You have to literally take this thing here and you have to drag it out like it's like you know, like this, and oh, okay, yeah, holy shit, I'm gonna die next week, you know. Feel like, yeah. But Monster Energy is basically sugar-free. Monster Energy is probably healthier than actual tap water in the US or black coffee, which is kind of crazy. That's true. The culture difference in America is crazy. I'm in British Columbia, and it's like the tourist places are often places are other than Toronto. So many people in Vancouver, but the real beauty starts many hours away. You're completely correct. The real beauty is in like not Alaska. That's cringe to say, but like outer Seattle and stuff, like outside Seattle. That's beautiful. I knew a guy named Gail. He was from British Columbia. He lived in those holiday islands where like the ultra rich they live in. Those Key Islands, I think they're called. Gail and me and Gus and Gail. You know, he was a little bit of an odd fellow, but he was completely fine. But British Columbia is very beautiful. I've heard it. Like, yeah, it has a really cool wildlife. It's after when you like British Columbia, I would definitely go to one day. Most people who migrated from America, they either live in Canada or they live up in Minnesota or like upper Minnesota, where the panhandle is, or they live in the North Dakota or South Dakota, and those places are basically almost the same as Norway, a little bit flatter, but they have the Norwegians there are probably more culturally Norwegian than we are, because we basically are not even, I don't know what to say, we're just not ourselves anymore. We don't have any traditions left. We're basically told that traditions are extremely, conservative, and basically traditions here are only in federal holidays and in weddings, but other than that, you're supposed to be like this super, hell yeah, ultra democracy, cheeseburger, like we're just pretending to be Americans. It's stupid. Yeah, haha. I saw a young bear yesterday while camping. Yeah, there's shit tons of mooses in Norway. There's fuck tons of mooses. If you want to go to Norway and front collide with a moose, you're welcome to take a car ride anywhere. Because you'll front collide it one way or another. I biked to my work one day and I saw 3 fucking mooses, in the dirt trail while biking. And the mooses just ran away. It was so funny. William is calling me. The fuck? Why the fuck is Willem calling me? It's like, have you changed the strings in the dobro? I said, no, that's done that. He bought these new strings. Oh my god, it ruined the feeling. The guitar's broken, the guitar's ruined forever. He said it makes the tone basically worse because he changed the strings on the dobro steel guitar. So basically the dobro is supposed to like keep the old strings for that authentic feeling. You know. I saw a young bear. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, Norway is very beautiful. But I'm gonna probably round it off now. I have a lot to do today, but that was pretty much it. Cause the sun is going away. There's coming clouds, so it's safe to drive. And I haven't had lunch, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in. This is me, Gus, and Silver Papyrus. Bye.